Donald Trump threw himself a birthday party at the White House with big, strong men fighting each other and motorcycles flying through the air. And then he gave himself the gift of a peace deal with Iran that accomplished nothing other than getting us back to where we were before the war began. But at least his name is still on the Kennedy Center, right? Oh, it's not? Oh, but it's his birthday. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. I don't know where you're watching tonight, but wherever you are, I guarantee it's not as much fun as New York City is right now. No offense, but New York City is currently a cross between Mardi Gras, Coachella, and that rave from The Matrix. We got Nixon 5, World Cup fever, the Puerto Rican Day Parade. We got block parties. We got watch parties. We've even got guys balancing trash cans on their heads for some reason. The only thing I'll say to this dude is, where were you all the years the Knicks were losing? This is exactly the sort of thing that could have cheered everyone up. They should let this guy join the Knick City dancers at halftime. The vibes are so immaculate here in New York City that any given night you could be out for a walk in Brooklyn and you could see Spike Lee being paraded through a raucous crowd like he was basketball Santa Claus. Also, just shout out to Spike Lee on this Knicks victory. This dude has been courtside through so many years of losing seasons. He never gave up. I mean, has anyone ever looked sadder in more gear than Spike Lee has looked for the past 3 decades? I mean, every time the Knicks broke his heart, instead of burning a jersey, he just doubled down and added another piece of clothing. Tyrese Halliburton sent you home with a dagger 3. Are you finally done with the Knicks, Spike? Nah. I'm going to the hat store. It all feels bigger than just sports. If you're in New York City right now, whether you live here or you're just visiting, you could jump on the F train and at any moment be surrounded by people in Knicks gear or Brazil gear or Morocco gear or even Mets gear. And if you're from abroad and you don't know what the Mets logo is, it's the one on the hats of the sad people. But even the Mets took 2 or 3 from the Braves this week, so everyone on the subway is in great spirits, which is good because you're going to be stuck with them for a while when your F train stops between stations for what we know as rat crossings. You see, here in New York, we respect our rats, especially our celebrity rats, because even they are all Knicks fans. I'm just kidding, you guys. Pizza Rat's dead. We've talked about this. It's good that he's dead. That's just how long rats live. I mean, I'm sorry he didn't get to see the Knicks win, but maybe if he'd been Broccoli Rat, he would have had a chance. And if you're walking through the streets of New York, especially if you're on live TV, just be prepared to put on a Knicks jersey.
I want to bring in Mark Morales, who is live for us, I believe, in Times Square, and he's putting on a Knicks jersey. I don't even know if this was voluntary that he had a Knicks jersey put on him, but you know what? If you're walking through the streets of New York, you're going to be wearing it.
Yeah, they just came upon me. They're like, you have to wear this now. And after a night like tonight, I'm not going to argue.
Now, this is a form of bullying I can accept. Hey, what up, nerd? Looks like you could use some valuable merch. Anyway, the point is what's happening in New York right now is a moment that feels bigger than sports, and even the mayor is getting in on it.
Woo! What time did you go to bed?
1:30. They tried to keep me out.
3:45.
Oh my God.
Oh my God is right. Also, we could tell you were up until 3:45 in the morning because you look rad as Seriously, what the That's how you know you have a young mayor. If I stayed up until 3:45, not only would I not be wearing a tie, I'd recoil from light like a vampire. It burns. So everyone's psyched. In fact, Knicks fans weren't just forcing reporters to wear Knicks jerseys or balancing trash cans on their heads. They were so excited, they even scaled the walls of the Kennedy Center and took down Donald Trump's name. Wait, sorry, I got that wrong. That wasn't Knicks fans. That's my bad. That was not, in fact, Knicks fans. That was the judicial system. I'm so sorry. Sometimes I get Spike Lee confused with a judge because, you know, they both wear special outfits. Now, Trump's name was finally taken down from the Kennedy Center this weekend after a judge ordered that only Congress could change the name, and people were excited.
So this was the crowd that gathered outside of the Kennedy Center this morning to watch as workers set up scaffolding to strip Trump's name from the building.
Just off screen here at the angle you can't see fully, but there are hundreds of people here in D.C. who have come out to witness this moment. Now, with every foot that they build this scaffolding, we've heard chants of take it down, take it down. President Trump's Kennedy Center needed to take the name off the wall, and there you see people cheering as the workers are climbing up the scaffolding, again adding to it.
Imagine being so disliked that a crowd forms to watch your name get taken off of something. Generally speaking, when you erase something, that's because it was a mistake. You know, Trump's the only guy on earth who could get people excited about whiteout, which, fun fact, is also what he's been applying to his hand. Now, Trump was clearly very sensitive about this because the workers put up a tarp to hide what they were doing. He literally did a cover-up. The only way this could have been more on the nose if instead of putting a tarp over his name, they just had it redacted. But as usual, Trump couldn't even manage a competent cover-up because a photographer still found a spot where you could see the workers removing the letters in Trump's name. This picture sums up everything about Trump, trying to hide an embarrassing thing, but failing, and in the process, making it even more embarrassing. I just wish they had saved the J from Donald J. Trump and replaced it with Jalen M. Brunson. I think Knicks fans could get behind that. So crowds were celebrating Trump's name coming down the same way New Yorkers are celebrating the Knicks winning it all. But hey, I'm biased. Maybe it's not just New York. There are other landmark sporting events on the calendar. Let's check in on the America 250 celebrations down in D.C. I'm sure everyone is having a blast.
Now looking live at the nation's capital, where you can see the claw behind the White House. It's set up and ready for tonight's UFC fight on the South Lawn.
I have to be honest, I thought the first time I heard the words, "Let's look live at the White House where you can see the claw," would be in a sci-fi movie. Humans, you have failed to atone, therefore you have left us no choice but to resort to the claw. So the claw was in place at the White House, a sense I'm sure the founding fathers would have loved, and to prepare for the fight, there was a press conference at the Lincoln Memorial, which had to be one of the weirdest things anyone's seen in our nation's capital. Look at Lincoln in the background. It's like he saw what they were doing and said, "Oh, I gotta sit down." If that chair had wheels, he would have backed away like, what the is this? So it was a bizarre spectacle. And there were plenty of hiccups from bad weather to bad polling.
How do Americans feel about the UFC fights at the White House?
Yeah, let's just say this much. They do not like it. They don't like it. Take a look here. UFC White House fights are appropriate. Just 16% overall. And among Republicans, even among Republicans, you know, the diehard base Republican Party with Trump through thick and thin, just 31% of Republicans. And, you know, this overall, you know, being 16%, you know, what is it, like 28% of Americans, you know, believe in telepathy? So this is even below that.
Fewer Americans support UFC fights in the White House than believe in telepathy. Oh, speaking of which, I'm getting a message. I'm telepathically communicating with the American people, and they're telling me, wait, yes? This sucks. And if the bad weather wasn't enough of a problem, the White House made it an even bigger problem by beefing with the Weather Channel on Twitter. The Weather Channel posted that there would be rain, 30-mile-per-hour winds, and mosquitoes on the White House lawn, which is a totally normal thing for the Weather Channel to post. I mean, that's what they do. They're the Weather Channel. But the weather report apparently triggered someone at the White House because they tweeted back at the Weather Channel, this event is about celebrating America's unmatched greatness after 250 years, which apparently doesn't sit well with the friendless loser who wrote this bull clickbait headline. I'm sorry, they're a friendless loser? Okay, person who just picked a fight with the Weather Channel. I mean, I know when I hang with my bros, all we do is fight with cable channels. Yo, you just see what QVC just said? This cannot stand. Maybe the Weather Channel was looking out for the president. You know, it was his 80th birthday party after all, and you might want to warn him about rain since he knows all about how to operate an umbrella. We've always got that clip on standby, baby. That's what we call a late night classic.
Late night classic.
But I have to say, my favorite image from this weekend was motorbikes just launching in front of the White House. Because I realize it's the perfect representation of Trump's presidency. Like, you want to focus on the history, but every 5 seconds you have to deal with a new loud distraction on social media. It's like, mom, 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 mom. But hey, maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm just easily distracted. The president, on the other hand, was laser focused on the important work of government, even though it was his big special day.
In fact, I spoke to the president this morning. On his birthday, he's still working.
Yeah, because he's a grown-up. He's 80, not 8. We're supposed to be impressed that the most powerful man in the world was working on his birthday? Instead of eating cake and what, going to Six Flags? I'm still working, which is not fair because I got a Hogwarts Lego set for my birthday. 2,600 pieces, I'm building it, but Mexico's gonna pay for it. So the birthday boy was working on his special day, and what was he up to anyway?
Trump taking to Truth Social saying, quote, the deal with the Islamic Republic of Iran is now complete. Congratulations to all. I hereby fully authorize the toll-free opening of the Strait of Hormuz and simultaneously herewith authorize the immediate removal of the United States naval blockade. Ships of the world, start your engines. Let the oil flow.
Simultaneously herewith? First of all, you can't brag about the strait being toll-free when there weren't tolls before you started this dumbass war. You just got things back to the way they were beforehand. Next week, you just know he's gonna post, thanks to President Trump, the White House claw is no more. Also, let the oil flow makes you sound like a cut-rate Daniel Plainview, but one that doesn't have the arm strength to beat anyone to death with a bowling pin. You're like, I drink your milkshake. It's like, cut it out, that's irritating. Will you at least give me another milkshake? It's my birthday. But hey, that's good news. The Strait of Hormuz is immediately open without any tolls or delays, and I'm sure that won't change almost immediately.
Trump posting moments ago saying, quote, this great deal will bring peace and security to the whole region. With the opening of the strait upon the signing of the deal on Friday for purposes of mine removal, oil will flow on both ends again for the region and the world.
Okay, wait, so now the strait opens on Friday? That's not the same as start your engines. When you're at a NASCAR race, they don't say, drivers, get ready, and then make you wait for 5 days while they clear landmines from the track. But again, maybe I'm just being harsh. The point is the strait that used to be open toll-free was supposed to reopen without tolls immediately, then it changed to Friday, but it's still gonna be open without any tolls the way it was before, right?
The Iranians, I think, have suggested that this is just for the next 60 days. Do you get the sense that this is a more permanent situation where the strait will be reopened even beyond that 60-day period?
Well, our expectation is that the strait is going to be opened in a toll-free way for the long term, and that's the sort of thing that we're going to figure out in these technical negotiations.
What? So now we have to negotiate just to reopen the strait without tolls the way it was before? What other ideas do you guys have? We hope the strait is open long term, but we can't guarantee it. But don't worry, we've come up with a new way to get oil barrels through the strait. We have found a man who can balance them on his head. This is the Trump playbook. Cause a massive crisis, then backtrack and celebrate solving the crisis you caused. He's just gonna pretend the war never happened, the same way he put up a tarp to hide his name coming down from the Kennedy Center. But people can clearly see what's happening, and
they do not like it.
This has been a closer look. Hey guys.